Hello everyone, welcome to Deacon's NFL Talk. I'm your host Deacon, and welcome back to another episode on the channel, episode 36 this week. And today we only have 4 topics of NFL news this week. We also have one quick hit this week, so it's gonna be it's a really quiet week. It's gonna be a really quiet episode of NFL news. After that, after we have the short NFL news and quick hits, we are gonna go to reactions from this week. And there's a lot of crazy highlights to react to. Then we have the Week 11 recap, Week 12 power rankings, Week 12 predictions, stardom, sit-em for NFL fantasy, and one question of the week. This is Deacon's NFL Talk. Alright, we're going to jump right into this one. So first off, like always, we always have to start off with the first topic of the week. And today, we are going to start off with a topic that was I'm pretty sure I saw it right after last week's episode. But Seahawks center Connor Williams, all of a sudden just retired. And I did not see this. He abruptly retired. I did not see this coming whatsoever. And you might think honestly, I thought that he was one of the older centers in the league, but I mean, he was only 27. That's a pretty young age to retire. I don't know why he retired. I don't think really anybody knows why he retired as of now. I mean, he started all 9 games for the Seahawks this year. I mean, he retired before week 10. I believe it was it was like a day or two before the Week 10 matchup that the Seahawks had against, maybe they had a bye. Yeah, they had a bye. So, yeah, he had some extra time to think about it because the Seahawks had a bye in Week 10. So, he had a lot of time to really think about what he was going to do and what his future would hold. I mean, he played for Miami last year before he signed a 1-year, $6 million contract to join Seattle. And it was a good move by the Seahawks. I mean, obviously, I'd be more happy playing with the Seahawks than I would be right now playing for the Dolphins. That's just me though. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't know why he retired. I mean, he is coming off an ACL tear that he suffered in 2023. I mean, he's had 2 career ACL tears, which is not what you want to hear. That's not what you want. Obviously, that's one of the worst things that can happen. 2 ACL tears in a very short career. I mean, yeah, it just sucks. I feel so bad for him, and I wish him the best. I mean, he retired. Yeah, he retired during Seattle's bye, but the center that is going to replace Williams will be Olukutimi. I don't know. I can't get that last name pronounced. But yeah, he abruptly retired. I don't know why. I don't really know if anybody knows why. I mean, I haven't seen anything where he's came out and said why this happened. I guess all I'm trying to say is I don't know why this happened. So, all right, we're gonna go to the second topic. Originally we were gonna talk about the Giants benching Daniel Jones, but I literally saw yesterday afternoon that the Giants are actually releasing Daniel Jones after 11 games. Okay, I did not. I mean, sure, the benching part makes sense. He's not been playing at an elite level like we saw in 2022, where they took the Giants to the playoffs and I think they lost in the divisional round. I could be wrong. I mean, yeah, they came out of nowhere that year, and that's why they gave Daniel Jones a 4-year, what was it? I forget how much money he made. It was a 4-year, $100 million deal. It was actually probably more than that. 4-year, $160 million deal before the 2023 season. And it's just not worked out. I mean, I guess getting rid of Saquon doesn't help. But even with Saquon, the Giants would still be here right now. It's just really devastating for him because, honestly, I thought the Giants were looking really good in 2022. I thought they were only going to get better. I mean, I feel like we have to, it's kind of hard to say if a quarterback's bad when your quarterback has, 0 weapons outside of Malik Neighbors. Who do you have outside of Malik Neighbors? I mean, I guess that one other, I think he's the second receiver on the team. I forget his name. he's not bad, but really doesn't have like a good wide receiver too. Like he doesn't really have many weapons around him. His offensive line is mid. I mean, outside of Andrew Thomas, who is done for the year, you really don't have anybody else there. I mean, they will. Originally, the Giants were gonna place Jones as the third string behind Drew Lock, but now obviously he was cut. Tommy DeVito will start, by the way. Obviously, we all remember that story from last year where he came out of nowhere for 6 games and had a 3-3 combined record. And he was looking really like a really good quarterback. I mean, over the last 16 games, Jones has had a combined record of 3-13. In 2023, back to DeVito. In 2023, DeVito became a fan favorite when he recorded an 8-3 touchdown interception ratio and a 3-3 record as a rookie. He was an undrafted free agent out of Illinois, which is actually kind of wild. I mean, we'll see how he does because now he has more. I mean, I guess we'll see how he does without Saquon. I think he'll do just fine though with Malik Neighbors, who is 100% like gonna be a future like face of the league at some point in his career. And I really like that they're starting Tommy DeVito. I feel like Drew Lock is a little bit iffy. As of now, I really like Tommy DeVito to start. Once again, we'll see how he plays. This week, the Giants are going to go up against, let me see, they're going up against the Buccaneers, so that's really going to be a true test for Tommy DeVito. I mean, we'll see maybe if DeVito doesn't play up to expectations, we could potentially see Drew Lock come in late in the game, maybe even early in the game if he throws a couple picks early. We'll see what happens. I would say right now that Tommy DeVito is the right direction to go in. I mean, yeah, like I said, Jones signed a $160 million deal in 2022, and it's just not worked out one bit. Now, the question is, though, where is he going to land? Like, right now, like, I feel like he's not a bad quarterback. I will say this. Some people might disagree with me, but if we look back previous years, Daniel Jones, who did he have as a wide receiver in 2022? Let me see. Because I don't think that the Giants really had anybody in 2022. I am just going to look at, I mean, Saquon, I feel like, went off in that year. He was really good. Okay, here are the Giants receivers from 2022. Receiving stats or whatever. Isaiah Hodgins. Let me know, if you're not a Giants fan, let me know if you even know any of these people. Isaiah Hodgins, Richie James, Daniel Bellinger, who's a tight end, Darius Slayton, Chris Myarick is a fullback, Kenny Galladay, Lawrence Kager, Sterling Shepard, Wandale Robinson, David Sills V, Gary Brightwell at running back, Kadarius Toney, Marcus Johnson, Matt Breida, Nick Vanette, Saquon Barkley, Tanner Hudson, Austin Allen, Colin Johnson. I don't even know. Obviously, at this point, we're just getting down to like players that nobody even knows. But the biggest names that Daniel Jones had to throw to in 2022, I'm going to go Darius Slayton. I feel like people know him. Kenny Galladay, Sterling Shepard, Wandale Robinson. Gary Brightwell is now known, but he wasn't really that known then. And Kadarius Toney. We all know Kadarius Toney because he drops the ball. And I guess Saquon Barkley. But if we're talking, those were like some names that I know for sure. But for the average NFL fan, I would say that really the only player that people know is probably Kadarius Toney and Saquon Barkley. Let's face the facts. Daniel Jones has not had a true receiver one since Malik Neighbors in a long time, and we're cutting the guy. I mean, I want to cut him out. Obviously, I'll at least bench him. But I just don't understand what the Giants were doing here. I feel like it was a wrong decision. We'll see what happens, we'll see how Tommy DeVito plays, and if Tommy DeVito plays really well, then obviously it was the right decision. And now we'll see. They're stuck with Drew Lock. Honestly, the Giants at this point, if Tommy DeVito does good, they might want a quarterback. I would say just get another receiver. But if Tommy DeVito does good, I would probably say get a wide receiver early. I would probably say like a Luther Burden or Tatoria McMillan. One of the top 3 receivers in the draft, maybe Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State. I would get a top receiver if Tommy DeVito or Drew Lock proves that they're a good quarterback in the league. But honestly, realistically, right now, I would say we're getting a Shador Sanders, a Jalen Milroe, or a Cam Ward in the draft. We'll see what happens. I mean, I just honestly have no clue what the Giants are doing here. But anyway, we're going to stay in New York. The Giants fired general manager Joe Douglas after multiple losing seasons since 2019. Actually, he's not had a winning season since his term. And New York is moving on from Jones and will replace him as I'm reading the wrong thing. The Jets also fired head coach Robert Saleh a month ago, and now will be parting ways with Douglas after a frustrating 3-8 start. If you guys didn't know, but yeah, I talked about this in previous episodes. The Jets fired Robert Saleh, and now they're parting ways with their general manager. The Jets, honestly, are going to complete rebuild. I mean, I've already heard that the Jets could even they already know Aaron Rodgers' future. They could bench him. They could trade him. Nobody really knows what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers right now. And Douglas, he went 30-64 in his 4.5 years being the Jets general manager, and he's really not seen too many bright spots. I mean, sure, the Jets are really never a good football team. I mean, this year, if you look at the paper, if you were to say that everyone is in their prime, let's just not even in their prime. If you were to look at the Jets, and on paper, I would say the Jets would be pretty good. You're supposed to have a good defense. You're supposed to have a good quarterback. You're supposed to have a good trio of receivers, and it's just not working. I mean, on paper, before the year, I was like, the Jets might not be a bad football team, but once again, they are the Jets. I mean, so many people ride them so hard, and they're really not that good. They're just not, okay? At some point, we're going to have to face the fact that the Jets are not who we think they are. They're not who they think they are on paper. Aaron Rodgers, okay? If we were to look at Aaron Rodgers, coming from Green Bay, we would say the Jets could be contenders. You have Breece Hall, a good running back there. You have Garrett Wilson. You have Devontae Adams. You have another receiver. I can't remember his name. You have a solid offensive line. I mean, this is all on paper, by the way. And you have a good defense. That's all you need to win a Super Bowl, and yet they're just not going to do that, apparently. I mean, Phil Savage will take over as interim general manager for the moment as of right now. We'll see what happens with them. I mean, the Jets, obviously, right now they're out of playoff contention for sure. I mean, there's no doubt. And guess what? I don't even think their schedule might not be any better. I mean, right? They get. I think they have their bye this week. Yeah, I think the Jets have their bye this week. Let me see their schedule. All right, they have the Seahawks next week, I believe. Then they have the Dolphins. Then they have the Jaguars. That'll be honestly a close game between two bad teams. Then you have the Rams, the Bills, and the Dolphins again. Their schedule's not. I mean, sure. I would say the toughest games that they have is Bills, Rams, and you might be saying all the other teams they're playing are pretty decent and they're pretty mid. But the Jets those are tough games for them. And I don't know what's gonna happen with New York. I would honestly, I think the really only thing they're missing is their defense is underperforming, and Aaron Rodgers is just not working. All right, I think it's time to face the facts. Let him go. It's time. More on that. Since Douglas's tenure, the Jets, they've started 8 quarterbacks. I feel like I talked a little bit about this in the last episode when we talked about Robert Saleh's fault. I cannot speak. Robert Saleh's firing. They started Sam Darnold, Luke Falk, Trevor Siemian, Joe Flacco, Zach Wilson, Mike White, Tim Boyle, and Aaron Rodgers. That is a really bad list. Sure, Sam Darnold's going off. I guess you could say that. But who on earth is Luke Falk? I'm a massive NFL fan, but I've never heard that name once in my life. Trevor Siemian, I've heard of him. He's not that good either. Joe Flacco, Zach Wilson, we all know about him. Mike White, Tim Boyle, and Aaron Rodgers. Those are really not good quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers should have been good on the Jets. I mean, the Jets ranked 26th in yards per game with 294.4 and 26th in points per game with 18.5. That's just really bad football. And honestly, you cannot have any worse football than what the Jets are playing like right now. So, all right, last topic of the week. The Buccaneers wide receiver Mike Evans is set to return this week. against the Giants. Good news for Buccaneers fans. Just hope he doesn't injure himself again because this is really not an important game. Really, at this point, where they're just playing, the Giants are playing spoiler. So, the Buccaneers had a 4-6 record. The rest of their schedule is really easy. I mean, I would say they have one of the easy schedules left. They have the Giants, Panthers, Raiders, Chargers, which will be tough, Cowboys, Panthers, and Saints. Outside of the Chargers game, they really don't have any other game that will be threatening to them. So, I mean, yeah, good week for them. I mean, it's good to have Mike Evans back. Obviously, they lost Chris Godwin the same week to season-ending ankle injury, a dislocated ankle. And it's really, really good for them because I think the games that they played before, or while Mike Evans was out, were not good games, okay? So, he injured himself against the Ravens, all right, and they lost that game by 10. Then they played the Falcons. Then they played the Chiefs, and then they played the 49ers. They actually lost all 3 of those games, and then they had a week 11 bye week, so now they're going to be back this week. A much-needed bye, for sure. So, really good for the Buccaneers there. I mean, he injured his hamstring in Week 7 against the Raiders on Monday Night Football. I saw it happen, and honestly, sure, it's a big game. You have to play the Ravens, who's a really good team, by the way. I get it, but, he only made it worse for him. I feel like if he sat out that week, I feel like the Buccaneers would have been in much better shape if Mike Evans sat out for that game. Because if they did, let's think about it. If Mike Evans actually sat out for that game, I would say that he would probably start the next week, so he'd probably start against the Falcons. That'd be a win. They only lost by 5 in that game. So I'd say you win that game, you lose to the Chiefs, and then you beat the 49ers. You've only lost two out of the 3 games. I mean, it's really a big blow, but then again, it was his choice. And now at this point, you just be happy that he's back. I mean, he hadn't missed a single game since 2022, and before the injury, he hauled in 26 catches, 335 yards, and 6 touchdowns. All right, that is all for NFL news. We're going to go to quick hits, and then we have reactions. We only have about 3 or 4 reactions this week. Quick hits. All right, I believe we only have one. Actually, it's been a really quiet week of NFL news. All right, Cardinals linebacker Marcus Bailey suspended for 6 games. He violated the NFL's performance enhancement policy. He will return in Week 17 against the Rams. So, yeah, the final week, they play the Rams. I mean, he wasn't really that good of a linebacker. He was a former Bengal. That's the only reason I know him. And he's on the practice squad, so it really doesn't really do that much damage for the Cardinals there. Cardinals are looking very good, by the way. All right, reactions. All right, we're gonna start off the week with a absolutely wild NFC North thriller down to the wire. What a game it was. I was actually watching the Ravens-Steelers game. Dude, that one was wild as well. Justin Tucker missed 2 field goals. That was a wild game. But here we go. All right, I'm going to look for it here. We have the blocked field goal. All right, here we go. About to start it. We're going to pull it up right now. Here we go. 20-19, 46-yard attempt is blocked. Short. No time left on the clock, and the Packers went on to win the game. That was a wild game, all right? We had a lot of good games this week. So many. It was a really fun and interesting week that we had of games. We're going to go on to the next one. And it is, let me see, the Texans and Cowboys fumble touchdown. All right. This was actually a wild play. I'm going to look it up here. And Jalen Petrie, okay, give all the credit to him because he absolutely nailed this Cowboys defender. It was a crazy play. And I don't know if you're watching this game, but, man, Cooper Rush looked horrible, I will say that. And I feel like they should definitely start Trey Lance. Is it just me, or is should they start Trey Lance? I feel like they should legitimately start Trey Lance. We're going to pull up right now, all right? 20-10, not even a close game at all. It's the 4th quarter. It's a fumble, all right? The guy picks up the ball, and Petrie just wallops him, nails him, and then they hurdles the guy and scoops and scores at the 5 goal line. Touchdown. Houston Yeah, it was all Houston that game. I know all the Cowboys players keep saying that the Cowboys are the big brother of the Texans. Sure, they had Cooper Rush, but yeah, I don't think you guys are the big brothers. I think we found a new big brother in Texas. Yeah, it was all Texans. 34-10, I believe, was the final score. We're gonna go on to the next one. I guess before the game, I can't talk and look up at the same time, but apparently there was a metal that fell before the game, like from the Cowboys stadium. I don't know what the problem was here, but here we go. It's just like falling. Like, I don't know how. It barely hit somebody, which probably didn't feel good. But like, I kind of want to know what happened. Like, this was like a few hours before the game. And yeah, I don't know what happened. That guy's going to look at it, but like, I don't know, like, how does this happen? Like, sure, we've heard all the things about the Commanders Stadium falling apart. I don't know. I don't think this is going to be that kind of issue. But that was kind of wild. So, but yeah, that's the on that. We're gonna go to Josh Allen's game-winning touchdown against the Chiefs. All right, the Chiefs are finally beatable. I guess the word you kind of look for it. I don't know what the word you look for it, but the Chiefs always lose to the Bills in the regular season. They never beat the Bills in the regular season, and it's always the Chiefs in the playoffs that beat the Bills. So really, yeah, thank you, Buffalo, for beating the Chiefs. They finally have their first loss of the year. But now you got to make it count, and now you got to go and beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. But here we go. 4th and 2, 2:27 left on the clock in the fourth quarter. Buffalo's up by 2 points. It was a wild one. I only watched like the first quarter of this, and look at this. He's got the first down and much more. He actually goes for the touchdown. Like, Josh Allen is something else. Like, he's a monster. Like, you can't stop this guy. And I feel like before the season, I said the Bills were going to be very mid. I actually regret that. I didn't think they'd be this good. But, I mean, mainly because Stephon Diggs, he wasn't there. But honestly, I think he has a better supporting cast than he did with Diggs, because all Stephon Diggs did was complain. So, that is all for reactions. Now we're going to go to the Week 11 recap. It was a fun week, all right? Thursday Night Football, the Eagles beat the Commanders in a rally in the second half, 26-18. The Dolphins smothered the Raiders 34-19. The Saints also beat the Browns 35-14. The Colts beat the Jets by 1, 28-27. The Vikings beat the Titans by 10, 23-13. The Packers, like I just showed you, the game-winning blocked field goal. The Packers went on to win 20-19 against the Bears. Yes, the Packers still own the Bears, even without Aaron Rodgers. The Lions absolutely annihilated the Jaguars, 52-6. That's a wild score. The Rams beat the Patriots by the skin of their teeth by 6 points, 28-22. I'm telling you, the next few years, once the Patriots get Drake Mason weapons, they're going to be a problem. I'm telling you. All right, the Steelers beat the Ravens by 2 points. Lamar Jackson continues to struggle against the Steelers. The Steelers went on to win that game 18-16. If Justin Tucker would have made those 2 field goals, they would have won the game 22-18. The Seahawks beat the 49ers 20-17. Geno Smith with a game-winning rushing touchdown. Broncos 38-6 over the Falcons. The Falcons are just not a playoff team. They're not looking like it at all. Like I just showed you, the Bills finally beat the Chiefs by 9 points, 30-21. The Chiefs are no longer undefeated. And unfortunately, the Bengals' playoff hopes are likely over, losing to the Chargers 34-27 in a thriller. What a game. I watched the entire game, and it was just heartbreaking to see Evan McPherson miss that field goal. And it was just really a heartbreaking loss. The Bengals lost more, like, tight games than forever, I feel like. And last one, Monday Night Football, Texans 34, Cowboys 10. I'm going to show you guys how many games the Bengals have lost by 1 score. Okay? Against the Patriots by 6. Against the Chiefs by 1. Against the Commanders by 5. Against the Ravens by 3. And then again, well, I guess we won that game. I'm gonna see against the Ravens by 1 and against the Chargers by 7. We've lost 6 games by 1 scores, and I'm just telling you that's the worst thing possible. Sure, it's good to stay with them, but as a Bengals fan, this is the most heartbreaking way to lose. I've literally suffered 6 heartbreaking losses in 1 year that I never thought that I would see this. Honestly, I really hope that we do something with the front office next year. I hope Zach Taylor at least ups his game and knows what to do, but we'll see. If anything, if the Bengals can find a head coach, I would say it'd be probably Mike Vrabel or the Lions offensive coordinator. I know his name starts with Ben. I forget his last name. But Mike Vrabel, I feel like, would be a really good candidate for that. But anyway, we're going to go to the Week 12 Power Rankings. My Week 12 Power Rankings. Here we go. All right, we have a new number 1. Detroit is number 1. They went up 1 spot. The Bills right behind them at number 2. They went up 4 spots. The Chiefs at number 3 after the loss to the Bills. They went down 2 spots. The Eagles and Steelers did not move. The Eagles are number 4 and the Steelers are number 5. By the way, this was before Week 12, so before the Thursday night game 2 days ago. The Ravens dropped 3 spots. They go to number 6. The Chargers went up 3 spots to number 7. The Packers went up 1 spot to number 8. The Vikings at 9 plus 2. Broncos at 10 plus 7. They're actually the biggest riser of the week from 17 to 10. The Texans plus 1 at number 11. 49ers dropped 4 spots at number 12. Commanders dropped 6 spots at number 13. The Buccaneers are at 14, dropping 1 spot, and the Cardinals dropped 1 spot to number 15. The Seahawks are at number 16, adding up 4 spots. The Bengals at number 17, they dropped 2 spots. The Dolphins at number 18, they went up 1 spot. The Bears at number 19 plus 2. Rams at 20 minus 2. Falcons minus 5 at 21. 22 went to the Saints plus 2. The Colts plus 3 at number 23. The Patriots plus 1 at 24. The Jaguars are at 25 currently, with dropping 2 spots. The Cowboys dropped 4 spots to number 26. At 27, the Titans went up 2 spots. The Panthers went up 3 spots to number 28. The Jets dropped 2 spots to 29. They are a bottom 5 team. The Browns dropped 2 spots to number 30. The Raiders dropped 1 spot to go to number 31, and the Giants did not change. The Giants are the worst team in football right now. So, the Lions are the best team in football according to my power rankings, and the Giants are the worst team in football according to me as well. Week 12 predictions. All right, I'm going to get the NFL fantasy stuff ready. But let me just start off by saying, how on planet Earth did the Browns just beat the Steelers? The Steelers' struggles on Thursday Night Football continue. I said to myself before the game, I would not be surprised if the Browns won this game. Why, you might ask? Because it's AFC North football. In the AFC North, anything can happen. In a division game, anything can happen. Quite literally anything. But here we go. I predicted the Steelers because they were playing really good. But then again, I said if the Browns win, I would not be surprised at all. On Sunday, though, I have the Texans over the Titans, the Vikings over the Bears, the Commanders over the Cowboys, the Dolphins over the Patriots, the Chiefs over the Carolina Panthers. I really hope the Chiefs find a way to lose that game. I have the Buccaneers over the Giants, Detroit over Indianapolis, and for afternoon games, I have Denver over Las Vegas, Arizona over Seattle, in a tight NFC West game. I was leaning towards Seattle, then I changed it to Arizona. I have Green Bay over San Francisco. That'll be a great game to watch as well. And for Sunday Night Football, I have Philadelphia over the Rams. And on Monday Night Football, I have Baltimore over the Chargers in a thriller. What a game that'll be. I will be really, I would not be surprised if the Chargers won that game, but I feel like the Ravens are a slightly better team. They have an MVP caliber quarterback. The Chargers do as well. But I'm currently sitting at a 93-70 overall record. I'm currently 0-1 on the week. My Thursday night struggles also have been really bad. I mean, last week I won, but I've really struggled on Thursday Night Football. And currently, the month of November has not treated me well. I'm 22-18 in the month of November. I'm not doing so hot this month. We're going to go to NFL Fantasy Stardom. Sit him. Start Justin Herbert against the Ravens, Jaden Daniels against the Cowboys, Bo Nix against the Raiders, Matthew Stafford against the Eagles, Tua Tagovailoa against the Patriots, Drake May against the Dolphins, and Tommy DeVito against the Buccaneers. Sit Geno Smith against the Cardinals, Sam Darnold against the Bears, Anthony Richardson over the Lions, Jameis Winston over the Steelers, like I said on Thursday night. Which, yeah, actually, fun fact, the Browns' only points in the entire game, aside from field goals, were from 2 yards out. I'm not even kidding. And they were all rushing outside of the 2-point attempt. It was a wild game. And by the way, the last one, sit Caleb Williams against the Vikings. I don't know how you only score touchdowns from 2 yards out and a 2-point conversion from 2 yards out, but that is just absolutely wild. All right, running backs. Start Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt against the Panthers. Rachaad White and Bucky Irving against the Giants. Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler against the Cowboys. Tyrone Tracy against the Buccaneers. And Rico Dowdle against the Commanders. Sit Chuba Hubbard and Jonathan Brooks against the Chiefs. Yes, Jonathan Brooks is making his NFL return this week. It's his first. It's actually going to be his debut. So, yeah, Jonathan Brooks hasn't played due to an ACL injury, so he's going to make his NFL debut against the Chiefs. Sit Nick Chubb against the Steelers like on Thursday night. And sit Javonte Williams and Audric Estimime against the Raiders. Sit Alexander Madison and Zamir White and Amir Abdullah against the Broncos. That's all for running backs. We're going to go to wide receivers, and then I'll also get to the Deacon's NFL Talk Fantasy League in a bit. Start Malik Neighbors against the Buccaneers. George Pickens against the Browns on Thursday night. Jawan Jennings against the Packers. Jackson Smith-Njigba against the Cardinals. Ladd McConkey and Quentin Johnston against the Ravens. Yes, the Ravens' defense, the secondary is just horrible. And DJ Moore against the Vikings. All right, sit Jalen Waddle against the Patriots. Jacoby Myers against the Broncos. Jordan Addison against the Bears. Michael Pittman against the Lions. And Deontay Johnson against the Chargers. We're going to go on to tight ends now, and then we have kickers and defense. All right, start Cade Otton against the Giants. TJ Hawkinson against the Bears. Hunter Henry against the Dolphins. Will Dissly against the Ravens. Jonnu Smith against the Patriots. Jatavion Sanders against the Chiefs. And Theo Johnson against the Buccaneers. Sit Tucker Kraft against the 49ers. Yeah, he scored. I started Tucker Kraft last week, and he got me 0 points. So I won't even pick him up. Sit Pat Freiermuth against the Browns on Thursday night. Cole Kmet against the Vikings. Dalton Schultz against the Titans. And Colby Parkinson against the Eagles. We're going to kickers. All right. Here we go. Kickers. Start Kami Fairbrand against the Titans. Chris Boswell against the Browns, like I said, on Thursday night. Jake Bates against the Colts. Chase McLaughlin against the Giants. Jake Moody against Packers. Brandon Aubrey against Commanders. Jason Sanders against the Patriots. Jason Myers against the Cardinals. Justin Tucker against the Chargers. Jake Elliott against the Rams. Cameron Dicker against the Ravens. Matt Gay against the Lions. And Zane Gonzalez against the Cowboys. Sit Spencer Schrader against the Panthers. Daniel Carlson against the Broncos. Brandon McManus against the 49ers. Will Lutz against the Raiders. Karo Santos against the Vikings. Nick Folk against the Texans. Joey Sly against the Dolphins. Joshua Carty against the Eagles. Dustin Hopkins against the Steelers. That was from Thursday night. And John Romo against the Bears. Last but not least, defenses. Here we go. Start the Commanders' defense against the Cowboys, the Vikings' defense against the Bears, the Broncos' defense against the Raiders, the Texans' defense against the Titans, and the Buccaneers' defense against the Giants. Sit the Chargers' defense against the Ravens, the Packers' defense against the 49ers, the Rams' defense and Eagles' defense against each other, and the Seattle Seahawks' defense against the Arizona Cardinals. Right now, I'm currently beating Falcons 7-0. I'm currently the number 1 team in the league and the number 1 team in the division. I'm sitting at an 8-3 record, while Falcons is the worst team in the league, sitting at a 2-9 record, last in his division as well. It's okay. Right now, honestly, is a good week to face the worst team in the league because I have so many really good starters that have their bye week. Like for instance, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Devontae Adams. So right now my starting lineup is Baker Mayfield, Joe Mixon, Kyron Williams, DeAndre Hopkins, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, Travis Kelce. And now I just saw that Devontae Smith is out, and I have him starting. I don't know what I'm going to do there. I got to get that fixed. I guess Devontae Smith is out for the week, and now I got to cut somebody. So, anyway, kicker is Brandon Aubrey, and I have the Steelers defense who scored 7 points with 1 sack, 1 interception, and 2 fumble recoveries. So, that is all for NFL Fantasy. Start him, sit him. One question of the week. The question of the week is, what's next for Aaron Rodgers? I've seen so many things going on about where Rodgers could land, because he likely will not return next year. I mean, even though he says he wants to, I wouldn't say it's going to happen. I could be wrong, though. But, I mean, they're really not looking like... I mean, honestly, I think that I saw this one thing that the Jets already know what they're going to do with him. I don't know if that's true or not. Could just be one of those rumors. But if I had to predict, I would say that he probably goes to a team that needs a quarterback. But really, at this point, who wants him? I mean, all he does is throw the ball. It's incomplete. It's well over the guy's head, and he blames the receiver. Literally, if you watch the Texans Jets game, I really paid attention to what Aaron Rodgers does. Okay. Sorry. Rodgers threw a ball just barely out of reach. Or Rodgers threw a couple bad balls, and he just goes like he just totally blames the receiver. Like Mike Williams run down the red line. He said he just got to make a no-look pass. Who's throwing a no-look pass? You don't have to make a no-look pass. I don't know what he's doing. He is really not looking good at all. And really, he's the only all-time quarterback left that is going to make the Hall of Fame in the league right now, outside of young stars. I mean, I don't really have a prediction of where he's going to land. I would say it could be I've heard a lot about the Vikings. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, Sam Darnold could be a one-year wonder. I mean, really, they have J.J. McCarthy behind him, so it wouldn't really add up to send him to the Vikings, but, we'll see, I guess. But anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in this episode. If you enjoyed, hit the like, the subscribe button, and the notification bell to get notified every single upload this channel makes. We went overtime somehow without hardly any NFL news. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next week for another great episode on Deacon's NFL Talk.